All right, fam, it's time for the top 10 movies of the year. Been waiting a long time to make this video. It's finally here. There are some movies that I like more now than when they came out after thinking about them, and there's also some movies that I like less now that have been several months that have passed. So if you look at my old reviews and be like, well, why is this one ranked higher than that when you gave it this score compared to this one? Well, it's just because I'm a human being and my mind changes about things sometimes. So anyway, number 10 is Asteroid City. I didn't make a review for this movie, but I thought it was really, really entertaining. It was funny. I like Wes Anderson in general, and I didn't really like his last movie, which was French Dispatch, that much, but Asteroid City, I think, was hilarious. I liked a lot of what the movie was trying to say about artists and how they express themselves. Even if they don't really know what they're expressing, it's still worthwhile to keep going and keep doing what you're doing. As a musician myself, that was really impactful. I was like, a lot of times I'm feeling stuff and I want to make music about it or something, but I don't really know what to say. I don't know what I'm saying, but getting it out there is like the first step. So yeah, it was impactful, it was funny. Definitely recommend Asteroid City. Number 9 is the movie I just saw really recently, Poor Things. It has a lot of really good performances in it, and it's really well crafted. It looks beautiful, a lot of great production design, a lot of fun and quirky music in it. It really works. I think it's a lot of funny. It's not a perfect movie, and you can watch my review, but yeah, it ended up squeaking into my top 10. Definitely recommend going to see it, albeit maybe not with your kids or your mom. Number 8 is The Boy and the Heron, an animated movie from Miyazaki, his last movie, and it really is a beautiful swan song for him. It's about boyhood. It's about dealing with a lot of traumatic and complicated things as a kid. It's also really creative and imaginative. It's goofy, heartfelt, really thought-provoking. And I saw it in the Japanese with English subtitles, but also I hear that the English dub is also really great. It's got people like Christian Bale in it. So yeah, I think it's really worth it. I'm really happy to see that it was actually number 1 in the US in the box office when it came out. The first time that's ever happened for Miyazaki, who's made such a successful career with many beautiful films. So definitely check it out if you can. Number 7, one of my personal favorite action movies of all time, John Wick 4. This movie came out early in the year and has stayed on this list for so long. Mesmerizing cinematography, really, really impressive stunt work, and combining camera work and stunt work at the peak level is just, it's brilliant. John Wick is really committed to this character. He's outrageously goofy. He's got his own shtick to it. It's not necessarily a masterwork in storytelling, but for the action sequences alone and just the technical prowess behind the filmmaking, for me, puts it on this list. Everybody loves John Wick 4. Number 6 on my list is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This movie is making everybody's top 10 this year. It was so good. The first movie was great, but then the second one came out and it expanded on the ideas that it presented in the first one in such a great way. This is like going to be the Empire Strikes Back of this movie series. Look, that dark middle chapter. It's also significant that The Empire Strikes Back was also the most critically acclaimed one of that trilogy too. So yeah, a lot of similarities there. This movie has probably the most unique and impressive animation we've seen in this medium before, and I'm just glad we got to witness this. I'm glad that I was alive to see this happen. It was definitely a great cinematic event. Lots of great character work across the board. So yeah, everybody loves Spider-Verse. It's on this list for good reason. Now we're in the heaviest of hitters, top 5 of the year. Number 5, Anatomy of a Fall. This movie has a really, really committed and driven and complicated lead performance from Sandra Hüller, who I really think is going to win or at least get nominated for an Academy Award this year for her performance. She's spectacular. It's a very, very detailed movie. The screenplay is a murder mystery type where, a courtroom drama where it sets up a really, really complicated person in a complicated situation. It doesn't hold your hand, but it's also approachable and accessible, and all around just terrific filmmaking. So it's hard to not put this any higher than 5, but this has just been a great year for movies. Anatomy of a Fall definitely deserves this spot. I heard somebody call The Holdovers a warm hug of a movie, and I couldn't agree more. It's number 4 for me. Paul Giamatti is so good in this role. This role is so perfect for him as this kind of old curmudgeon, but he's also lovable, and how he has to learn how to be like a better teacher as he teaches this young kid who's played by Dominic Sessa. It's got laughs, it's got heartwarming, it's not overly cheesy and corny. It's made with prestige, but also is so much fun. It's so lovable, and I think, it's been a while since we had a really good Christmas movie come out. There's been Christmas movies every year that get pumped out by big studios, but not all of them are on everybody's watch list. But I think this one should be on everyone's yearly Christmas watch list. The Holdovers definitely deserves a top 5 spot. It's number 4 for me. Number 3 is Past Lives. This is really a breakout writing and directing performance for Celine Song, and boy, is it powerful and emotional. She does a whole lot with just a small minded film. It's a small budget, it's a small, it's not overly flashy, but she does so much with it. It's emotionally resonant. It looks beautiful as well. The performances are spectacular. For me, it's probably my personal favorite screenplay of the year, and it's just one of those movies that I haven't stopped going back to when I think of what are my favorite movies this year, and really this decade. Past Lives, I think, would probably make the all-decade list for top 10 movies so far. So definitely check out Past Lives. It's a small movie, but I think you can rent it. Definitely looks to be a contender for Best Picture at the Academy Awards as well, which I'm super excited for. Number 2 is Killers of the Flower Moon, which I think, to me, is my personal favorite movie for an acting ensemble this year. Leo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Lily Gladstone lead that charge with 3 Oscar-worthy performances. And this movie is really heavy in weight, and I think that Scorsese directs it with a lot of weight, a lot of pressure. It doesn't feel like you can take a scene off. It's so long of a movie, 3.5 hours, but the pressure builds so slowly and gradually, but you can't keep your eyes off the screen. It's tense. It feels like a thriller. In many ways, it is a thriller, and it looks beautiful as well. The cinematography is great. The costumes, sets, terrific. The score, everything about this movie really works to paint this really bleak picture of a group of people who were oppressed, and a lot of things really bad that happened to them. I think it does a good job of saying their perspective, even if nobody in the Osage Indians was really the main character in this movie. But it's all kind of viewed through the lens of the person who is the menacing person, the one who is taking advantage of somebody else, and it still paints that sympathetic picture in perspective really well, in my opinion. I think this is one of Scorsese's best, and Killers of the Flower Moon is must-see. Might take you a while to get through, but it's a stellar film. Last but not least is Oppenheimer, the best movie of the year. I think a lot of people are saying this. There's not much more I can say that I haven't already. Across the line performances are great. writing is great. From a technical standpoint, it's the achievement of the year. Christopher Nolan, you're going to get your Oscar this year. Super excited. As a film bro, I'm happy to say Oppenheimer is the best movie of the year and one of Christopher Nolan's best. And this is going to be one of the decade's best as well. Thanks for tuning in this year. I'll see you next year.